I have the Reverend Dr. Leah Lewis. I have Tay. We're just going to call her Tay because she's cool. And we have Ronia Worley, and we have Ali Black. So we're going to get started because you know I like to talk, and we only have an hour. First of all, I'm just going to talk about you. Can I call you Leah?
You sure can.
I'm going to talk about Leah. She has a history of knowledge and compassion, and when I tell you everything that she's involved in, you're going to see about it. She's the executive director of Little Lumpy Center for Education Initiatives, Literacy, Learning, and Technology, and you're also the executive director of Three Butterflies, LLC. So tell us a little bit about the Little Lumpy Center for Education Initiatives, and then you can tell us a little bit about Three Butterflies,
Okay.
LLC.
So Little Lumpy Center for Educational Initiatives is my nonprofit, and we do a few things. We are the host of the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference, which takes place every September as part of Cleveland Book Week, and it's hosted at the East Cleveland Public Library. We also do an award reception the Friday before at Case Western Reserve University.
Now, see, I didn't know about that. Okay, I'm going to have to tap into that next year because I enjoyed the conference thoroughly.
I'm so glad you came.
Yeah, I'm glad I did too. But go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So at Case, we do the Alice Dunbar Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award.
Okay.
And last year we gave it to the Nobel laureate, poet laureate Rita Dove. This year we gave it to a gentleman named Carl Phillips, who's a professor at Walsh U.
Okay.
And at Little Lumpy Center in 2020, we're hoping to launch a workforce development project in animation. So there'll be more coming down the pike about that.
Okay, because I know I did a little bit of research on it, and I'm just going to read this and see if this is correct about Three Butterflies.
Okay.
Okay, you're a producer and of original and adapted content, and it's built for today's children and open-minded and open-hearted adults who experience diversity in positive and unprecedented ways.
Yes, yes.
So
that's my for-profit, and as a producer of original content, I'm currently directing and producing 2 documentaries that have Cleveland themes, but my passion project is called Little Lumpy, and we have a picture book called Little Lumpy's Book of Blessings, and we have developed what we hope will become an animated TV show called Little Lumpy's Travel Log.
I'm going to tell you, now I bought the book at the conference, and I bought it for a patient of mine. She's 6 years old, and her face just lights up. I mean, the pictures they just jump out of the book, and the story is so original. It's about gratefulness, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's about gratefulness and the people that are around you and the people in your neighborhood. And it's just a regular story that any child can relate to, any child. And I love that book, and I'm going to have to get some more because I have a few other children. So if that's a wonderful gift idea, you know, reading is always a good thing. So if you want to get Little Lumpy's Book of Blessings.
Yes. Go to the website.
What's the website?
It is www.3THREE Butterflies with an S, LLC.com.
And how much is the book?
It's about $18.95.
It's worth it. It's worth it. This book is just fabulous, and I'm a reader. So if you're not a reader, you can still get into this book. Like I said, whoever did the illustrations for it did an excellent job. I mean, the reading is also good, but the illustrations are just, you know, like I said, they jump out at you, and you're just involved. Every time you turn the page, you're involved in the story. So that's a wonderful thing. We're gonna move on just a little bit because we want to get everybody's information in. Ali Black, we have her on the other end of the table. Ali is a poet of honor and executive director of the Youth Poetry Slam at the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference. And she works with children ages 13 to 21, am I correct?
10 to 18.
10 to 18? Oh, wow, I was way off. And Ali is a poet, an educator, and a consultant and youth advocate. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do, Ali?
Yeah, sure. So for the conference, I was the executive producer of the Poetry Slam, so I was pretty much in charge of recruiting the students, the participants, getting the judges for the slam, and sort of running the show that took place. I'm also the youth services director at Westside Community House, which is a social service agency on the west side of Cleveland. I run a program for girls called Sisterhood. And again, it's for girls ages 10 to 18, but it's a literacy-based program, which is how it made sense for me to be a part of the Youth Poetry Slam at the East Cleveland Public Library this past September. I'm a poet. I'm also a graduate student at Cleveland State University, getting a graduate degree in poetry. And I also have a nonprofit called Acerbic, which is a nonprofit for artists of color.
Now, if you are a writer or if you're a poet, or even do you receive actors at your nonprofit? And what do you do if someone is into the arts and they come to you? What would you be able to do for them?
Oh, I mean, with Acerbic is a multidisciplinary project or organization. So we have photography, we have writing, sculpting, videography. So we're a startup organization, but we work a lot with the young people in the neighborhood, and mainly the young people in the neighborhood on the east side of Cleveland. Okay. But with Westside Community House, which is a different hat that I wear, that's on the west side of Cleveland, like at 93rd and Lorraine. But this is a program for all girls, and it's literacy-based. But, you know, if you want to get involved, you simply apply. We have a school year program, and then we have a summer program, which is a 8-week performing arts camp for girls.
Oh, okay. So you don't need any experience to get involved with
Not
the program.
At all. Nope. And most people most young people who are involved in our program and our projects, they don't believe that they are creative or artistic, but then they find out that they are, that they have many talents, whether it's writing, singing, acting, photography, painting, drawing. They soon discover that they are talented in one or maybe multiple areas.
That's wonderful. I mean, you know, I didn't think that I could write, and I started writing. It's sort of like a life story, but it's also a book that brings light to different events that are happening. And you know, you get started with something and you don't really have anyone that you knows how to do these things. So it's great that you have these opportunities, because when you get around people who are talented, even if you don't know you have something, you're sitting with somebody and talking to them and you realize, hey, you know, I like that too. And so you bounce ideas off each other. And next thing you know, you're a superstar.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, Nia? Right. So, Tay, tell me what you do with the West Side Community House.
So, I am currently the Visible Voice Fellow at the West Side Community House.
And what does that entail?
So, with that, additional to being a mentor and a regular, participant of the group, leading activities or trying to make my own activities or trying to, figure out how to transform from being a part of the program to being a leader, literally. So I've been in the program since I was 14, since 2014 actually, and I'm currently 21. So once I aged out, I was able to get a job and be able to help with the younger girls under me.
And that's always important, because I'm telling you, as a former young girl, and not really having any older sisters or anything, it's important to have someone to look up to. So do you find that there's a lot of young ladies that come in and then you adopt them as like little sister and spend a lot of time mentoring? You said you're mentoring. So what exactly do you find is a good need for these young ladies? Is it just having someone to talk to, or to guide them in the direction that they need to go for their talent? Or what do you find is needed most with these young ladies?
I feel like nothing is more than the other one, because I feel like they need all of it. I feel like I needed all of it. So for me to know what I needed, it's like I want to spill it over into all of these other girls. Working under Miss Allie for all of these years, it's like she's my mentor. So I'm making sure that I'm paying attention to what she's doing or how she's moving. And that's showing me what I need to be doing, what I shouldn't be doing, how I should act, how I shouldn't act, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. It just like give you the example of being taught while teaching type thing.
Wow. Jeez, you got it going on over there, girl. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So what are your aspirations for your career?
I want to be a photographer. Well, I am currently an artist, and I do photography. I want to continue to work with people younger than me, so youth, in every way. I ride bikes with boys in Cleveland Bike Life. I work with girls at Sisterhood. It's like...
Wait. What kind of bike is it? Is it a motorcycle?
Bike. No, pedal bike.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh.
So it's like just being in these different worlds with all of these younger people is something that I want to continue to do. Growing and learning myself, additional to learning about all of these other people.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is wonderful. But you, and we're going to get to you too, Nia. We're going to say that for just a little bit longer. But there are people who actually think that a lot of youth are just lazy. They're just not doing anything. They're not about anything. If it's not the, oh God, I'm aging myself. The Kardashians or somebody on Instagram. That's what a lot of people think, that this is what the youth are into. And this, you're a young lady, you're only 21, right? This is fabulous that you're showing how you've matured under the leadership of Miss Allie, and then you're giving it back. And it's just so important that you give back. You know, someone helped me, someone helped you, and a lot of the young people are focused like you are. You know, that's one thing when I was at the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference, and they said the Youth Poetry Slam. I'm like, oh, this is going to be really nice. But the poetry from everyone was so, I'm trying to think of the right word. It was intense, but it was accurate, and it was passionate, and it was truthful. And it amazed me that this kind of platform isn't on a bigger scale.
Well, let me just invoke this. This was our second year doing the conference, and our first year doing the Youth Poetry Slam. So, Terry, you got to start somewhere.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
My hope is that next year it'll be even bigger.
It's going to be.
The goal is to fill up the Greg L. Reese Auditorium at the East Cleveland Public Library, and to get even more participants in the Youth Poetry Slam. Yeah. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is you kind of invoked it. People in our generation are always casting doubt on the character of young people. And the reality is we are the ones who have failed them. If the truth is told.
I agree.
And so, I was very honored when I was able to reach out to Allie and ask her to participate, and she said yes. And I couldn't think of a better young poet to serve as executive director of the Youth Poetry Slam because of her profile and the work that she is doing in the community.
I was so excited, and I even talked to Reverend Christine Smith, who's the pastor of Restoration Ministries, about over the break doing something with the Youth Poetry Slam, but we got so busy we couldn't put it together. But that is something I'm going to be talking to you about, Allie, of doing over spring break and getting the youth, and she has a church up on East 260th, and just putting it out there, like you said, getting the word out and showcasing these youth, because I'm sure there are numerous amount of youth that have this in them, and you're making a platform for it to come out. So that's fabulous. So we're going to segue into the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference. Now, I was honored to attend. I knew it was going to be good because African American writers, so I knew it was going to be good, and I knew it was going to be exciting. But I'm just going to give a little background on it so people that are watching will get a little background on the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference. They had groundbreaking authors and publishing industry professionals. I mean, really great publishing industry professionals. And they also had meaningful dialogue in an intimate setting. We were at the East Cleveland Public Library, and the room wasn't too big where you couldn't get your questions out, and it wasn't too small where you felt like you were tight, and it was just a perfect sized place. And they had entertainment from riveting storytellers. The storytellers, you know, it reminded me of having my grandma tell me stories. It's just you start to listen, and then they just draw you in, and before you know it, you're sitting like this on your seat waiting to see what the ending of the story was going to be. All this was happening at the conference. And then of course the networking. You couldn't beat that, because some of the people that were there, of course I'm not really wise in literacy with writing, but I didn't know anybody that was there, but except for you, of course. And they just blew me away at the knowledge and the professionalism and all the information that they were willing to just pour out to everybody. There were all different types of people there, all different types of writers, publishers, producers, and I mean the knowledge was, you couldn't get editors and scholars, and you couldn't get this, you couldn't pay for this kind of information, really. So tell us a little about the people that were there.
Yeah, well, first let me say that it was free and open to the public.
Yes, it was.
It will be most likely free and open to the public in September 2020. We won't know the exact date yet until the Cleveland Foundation establishes that.
Okay,
But so our national speakers were Damon Young, who is a blogger, I don't know if I can even call him that, and an author. He is he heads verysmartbrothers.com, which is also a part of The Root. And his book is called What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Blacker. And he was pretty phenomenal. He was real, he was raw. And then we also had Kimma Jones, who is a publicist out of Los Angeles. And she's a young African-American woman that represents a number of national authors who are national award-winning writers, both African-American, of color, and women. And so those were our two national speakers. We're working on somebody big for 2020. Hopefully you'll have me back to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
And then locally, we had two scholars from Cleveland State, Ronnie Dunn and Mittie Davis-Jones. And we also had a mother-daughter pair, the Smiths, and that's Michelle Smith's Quarles. And I don't know why her mother's name is escaping me right now. It will come to me. But they had a discussion about the value of intergenerational reading and literacy. And that conversation apparently moved people because so many people came up to me and talked to me about it. Then we had Abby L. Van Diver, who is a local writer.
She was powerful.
Yeah, Abby has written maybe 30 books so far, and her story is that she had some health challenges and was confined to her bed. She's an attorney, but she could write from her bed. So she started writing books. She mastered Amazon. She would post her books on Amazon, and she became a best-selling Amazon author. And as a result of that, an agent approached Abby. And Abby then went on to get a 3-book deal. I believe it's with Penguin. And Abby is also, she was the writer for the writer in, I forget what it's called, but I'm a little tired, y'all, so forgive me. But she is a writer in residence at the South Euclid Public Library. And so she does a lot of classes and a lot of workshops out there. She was interviewed by Rhonda Crowder. And we had several other authors come. And to branch out to make it more of a Great Lakes event, a dear friend of mine named Shonda McDeal came from Pittsburgh. She's with the Heinz Endowment. And even though it's anchored here in Cleveland, we really do want it to become a regional happening. And to that end, I just want to say that Kimma remarked that she had never been to an African-American book event like ours. She talked about how she had never been to an event where they sang the Black National Anthem. She had never been to an event where we started with drumming. You know, we had to call in the ancestors. So this really is a cultural happening, and it is for the people of the city of Cleveland, Greater Cleveland, and the Great Lakes region.
This is what makes it fabulous, everybody. You know, there's nothing wrong with making something about your culture.
That's right.
You know, it's not like we're singling us away from anyone else, but we're highlighting our culture.
That's right.
And I was a little late. I missed the drumming because I had to work and I came from work. But like I said, the information from African Americans, and just like you said, Kimmy said she had never been to it. She gave such good information about in the publishing industry how African Americans have to do things differently.
Right.
And as much as you would love to think it's a universal society, it's not.
It's not.
It's not. And I don't want to stir the pot, but I'm going to stir the pot because it's not a universal society. And something like the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference is going to put people in position where they wouldn't have had an opportunity to be in position to write, to publish, to produce, to network on a level that's real. You know, no one was just standing up there talking about their accolades and what they know how to do and where they've been and how, but they actually talked about, okay, what is your passion? And this is what you're going to have to do, because everybody in the audience was asking questions. The line was out all the way up the stairs. They were asking, okay, well, this is what I did. I started writing something and I got stuck. So, I mean, but I have the money to publish it. So they gave you information of, okay, don't do it this way. I mean, it was just raw, good information. Don't do that. And if you do that, this is what you can expect. Because you are African American, this is what's going to happen. This is how long your manuscript's going to sit in a corner. You know, and these are the kind of things that if you don't understand that this is what's going on, you can get discouraged. You can think that you're not worthy. You could put the pen down, when in reality, you had to keep the pen in your hand and keep writing. And this is what was told at the conference. I was encouraged to actually go get an editor because I wrote my book, and I'm pretty good with words, but when you write your own book, you definitely, one thing I learned, thank you, Jesus, I got it through my head, is to don't edit your own book. I mean, it was like, and when I had it printed and I read it, I'm thinking, because they asked me 3 times, you sure you want to print this? You sure you want to print this? At the self-publishing place. And I mean, yes, I've read it 950,000 times. And thank God I didn't have enough money to get 10,000 copies, because when I got it and I read it, and I'm thinking, gee, you know, I saw stuff after it was printed. So these are the kind of little mistakes that turn into big mistakes. That
Costly mistakes.
Costly mistakes.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we do the conference, so that African American writers in particular can come and understand what the industry standards are.
Yes.
One of the reasons I decided to do this conference is I heard stories in 2018 about African American writers who were exploited. They were taken advantage of by people who were so-called experts. And these were costly mistakes. And we know that there's this wealth disparity in our community. We cannot afford to waste money, lose money, or to give it away needlessly. So we put the conference together so that we can bring experts from the industry who can give insights that we desperately need.
Yes, and it was a wonderful insight for me. And like I said, I'm at the lowest I could possibly be on the totem pole as a writer. You know, that's not my main passion, but you don't have to have just one passion. And at this conference, you got a chance to explore so many different avenues in the arts and in writing. And it was a fabulous thing. So next September, you guys, we're going to have it again at the East Cleveland Public Library, which is beautiful, by the way. If you haven't been there, you need to take a ride down there. They have so many things going on at this library, so you need to take a ride down there. But we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back with our star of the evening, Miss Rania Worthy. She is a winner of the Poetry Slam, and we're going to find out what you're all about and have Allie talk a little bit about it, and we're going to hear some poetry from a poet. You ready? Okay, we'll be right back in just a few seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. We had a short little break. Now we're going to talk about our feature tonight, Ronia Worley. Ronia was the winner of the Poetry Slam at the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference, and we're going to find out a little bit about Ronia, and we're also going to ask Allie Black to give us some information about the youth that were at the Poetry Slam. So, Nia, I'm going to call you Nia. Did I get your name right, sweetie? Because you know I was calling you the wrong name earlier. How did you get started writing poetry?
I actually have been writing poetry since I was like maybe 12 or 13. But when I got to sisterhood and we started to do these exercises where we would write poetry, I think that's where I finally came out of my shell more and actually wanted to write more poetry. And being at sisterhood and just doing these activities, it's really helped me mature more with my poetry.
All right. So, what fuels your creativity besides the sisterhood? I mean, does it come from deep inside, or the community that you live in, or your experiences? Where do you get your creativity from?
I guess it would have to be my community. Being a black girl, where I live and basically in the world is always an obstacle for us.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where most of my creativity comes from.
Yeah, I know you have some powerful weight, you guys here. This is wonderful. So, what are your dreams? Do you dream to write a book with your poetry, or to go all over the world and speak, or do you have other dreams that are involved with your poetry or not involved with your poetry?
I actually want to be a rapper.
Oh, all right, you rap too?
Yeah. During the summer, I help create music and I get to perform it. So
Cool.
I always have seen myself as being like someone who likes write songs or perform music. So that's basically what I really want to do. I guess poetry. I like photography too. I want to be a photographer. So I guess poetry and being a photographer would probably be a hobby for me, but I really like writing music.
All right. Now, the gentleman, Terry Milliner, who wrote the music for our intro, he's really into music. His band is into music. So I'm going to be calling you Terry, because this young lady has some serious words, okay? She has some serious words, and see if maybe you can tell us about a mentor, because he's watching tonight. That's why I'm talking to you, okay? Tell us about a mentor or something that can help you get involved. So don't you let me forget about it, and Terry, I will be calling you. Now, Allie Black, can you tell us what happened with the Poetry Slam? How did you get involved, and how did you get the young people to get involved with it?
Okay, so Leah contacted me and asked would I get involved with the Poetry Slam. And we pretty much blasted a flyer that we created and sent it to schools, sent it to different organizations. I shared it with some of my girls at the Sisterhood program. A lot of it was word of mouth. And so the students simply had to register for the event. Just name, age, address, contact information. And so as long as you met the age requirement, you were allowed to participate. We even bent the rules a little bit and let
That's
people
okay.
who were in outside of the age range participate. And then from there, they were just selected, to perform. And
Yeah.
so the day of the event, we had 3 rounds of poetry. And obviously Rania was the winner. But it was a really nice event, and it was great to see you know, women,
Yes.
all women participants, and all of them have very strong content.
Yes.
Just you know, really strong work, and it was exciting to watch them perform and you know, go the rounds, because it can be, you know, it can be intimidating because it's a competition.
Just getting up in front of people
yeah.
and talking
Yeah.
and putting yourself out there with your work has to be a little, you know, nervous a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. And I know Rania, you know, she's had experience performing and, you know, doing her work through sisterhood. But I'm not sure, was this your first time being in the Poetry Slam?
Yes.
Yeah. So see, it was her first time.
That's pretty good right there. That's wonderful. I'm telling you, this is a testament to all the work you're doing, Allie. I'm telling you, these two young ladies sitting here shining like lights on top of a hill. Look at y'all. I'll tell you, I'm proud, and I just met you. I don't have nothing to do with your success. But okay, come on, Nia, with the poetry. We're going to set the stage for your poetry. This is a young lady who goes to John Hay High School, who's part of the Sisterhood program, who was the winner, her first time being in a Poetry Slam, won, came in, blew it away. All the participants were good, though. You had to be there to know it. They were all good. But we have our first time having a winner of a Poetry Slam on Tara's Table Talk. So just sit back, relax, take a deep breath, take your time, and blow us away, sweetheart. We're waiting for you.
Okay. The title of the poem is called Brave in This Cold World.
All right.
Told me I'm pretty for a black girl. Said I'm second in a man's world. I gotta be brave in this cold world. 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 You've been watching. You've been seeing. You've been hearing my story on the news. I like to see how you respond if what they did to me, they did to you. Got these police departments doing whatever they want to do. Slamming me down, yelling all out, making me feel like I don't deserve my crown. The pressure is heavy. I couldn't catch a break even if they let me. Every time I look up, somebody trying to sweat me, check me, upset me. I can't expect anybody to truly love me except me. I accept me, I respect me. I gotta do all these things to protect me. I don't trust people who can't uplift me. If you don't see my greatness, why you messing with me? You know how many times they tried to count me out telling me, you thought like a girl, you smart for your age. You shouldn't wear that. Why you so loud? Did you eat today? You should wear your hair straight. You don't look 16. You always got an attitude. I'm surprised you like math. Why you so bossy? Did you grow up with your father? Why you so emotional? Quit being lazy. But I don't let this stuff faze me. Got a bunch of kings and queens who raised me. I'm headed for the top despite what they say. Knocking hurdles out of my way, making the most out of my day. And since they always trying to stop me, I keep my courage at bay. Channel my Beyonce and watch me slay. Stop. The whole time.
Brave in this cold world.
Come on.
That was all right. Now I'm telling you, that was some knowledge right there. That was so beautiful. And I tell you, you deserve to win. You did a great job. That is, I tell you, I'm still kind of amazed. I was amazed when I heard it. I'm like, wow. I just think that as long as you continue to be true to yourself, you will always be able to put that down. You can rap it down. You can say whatever you. In fact, do you want to rap a little bit for us tonight? You got something you want to throw down?
No, I didn't have anything prepared.
Okay. Okay. Always be prepared, sweetheart. You never know who's listening. Jay-Z might be listening. Look, I'm like, I don't know his name. Okay, I'm not that old. I do know that Jay-Z is a rapper, right? Okay. Well, I do want you to know that when we were at the conference, Allie did encourage us to support the youth and to make sure that you guys know that you're valued and know that the community is here to support you. We uplift you. we don't want you to ever feel like we've let you down because we get busy, you know. But I am the founder of a ministry called Phenomenal Women Rise Up Ministries. And we're going to be branching out soon, doing more things. But I'm going to put my money where my mouth is tonight, because I want you to know that when you get out there and you're successful, you should get paid. You should get accolades. That's what people get. That's how the world runs. So we're going to make a donation into you financially tonight, okay? So here you go, sweetheart. I forgot to get the card, so just take this right here in this envelope.
Thank
And
you.
congratulations. And keep doing what you're doing. Don't never stop. And if the accolades don't come as much as you want them to, just remember that God put something in you that's just for you. So don't worry about what the world is acknowledging. You know that deep down in your heart, when you said that poem, you knew it was you. It was coming from your heart. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been received like it was received at the conference. I mean, everybody was just, you know, they heard you. They didn't just listen and hear the words coming out your mouth. They heard your words. They felt. I did. I felt your words. I had an understanding of what you were trying to say. You weren't just rambling off words and rhyme, you know, I'm doing the roses are red things. So I just appreciate you. And I appreciate you too, sweetheart. I appreciate the fact that you're mentoring her, that you're taking the time when you've made it and go backwards. See, this is what we do, okay? This is what women are supposed to do. That's what Phenomenal Women is all about for me. You have to make sure that if you get a little bit, you give it back. And you make sure that you recognize those coming up, because somebody was praying for me. Somebody was praying for everybody. And someone was helping out when they could help out. And that's your duty. You are your sister's keeper. You are your sister's keeper. And don't think that you're not. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. You know, there are a lot of women, just like with my Facebook friends, they are so encouraging. And sometimes when you're having a little bit of a rough time and somebody comes up to you and gives you a word of encouragement, it could change everything for you that day, right, Reverend Lewis? Reverend, I tell you. So we're going to move on to make sure I got my time situation here together. And we're going to talk about your documentary.
All right, let's do it. But I got to invoke. Now, we did
Okay.
give cash awards.
Oh, yeah, you did.
So we'll do that again next year. And I haven't even shared this with Allie, but some of the feedback we got on the poetry slam is that the adults in the main auditorium wanted more.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to figure out how to make that happen next year. So because we had the youth poetry slam was in the lower auditorium in the afternoon, and then the top 4 winners came upstairs and presented their work, and they really just moved every single person who was present. It was
Yes,
powerful.
It was. It really, like I said, I was overwhelmed. Not that I didn't know that the youth had it in them, because I know our young people got it going on, especially here in Cleveland. You know, they try to act like they don't, but they do. There's so many young people that are achieving things that don't get published on TV and everything. But those young ladies, whoo! I mean, they were talking from the heart. It was out, putting it out there like bam, bam, bam. And you had to pay attention. You had to sit up and pay attention and get where they were at and understand, this is where I'm at. Okay, I'm speaking about this. Do you get it? You know, they were just, do you understand? And if you didn't understand, maybe you needed to get an understanding, because our young people are carrying a lot.
They are. They are. And, you know, I think the poets that presented were very authentic. They gave us
Yes.
a great understanding and window into their realities.
Yes.
And I said it earlier, it's the adults who have failed the youth. And so we did not censor them. We didn't censor anyone who spoke at the conference. And I think that some of the truths that were spoken really woke some people up.
Yeah, it woke me up. I'm telling you, it really did, because there's nothing new under the sun. And like I said, we are our sister's keeper, and some of these young ladies were speaking truths that as an older woman, I know it's the truth because that was me.
Right.
And a lot of us older women are tight-lipped about experiences, and then a lot of the younger women are coming up thinking it's just them. It's got to be me. Oh, I'm not. No. Life throws curves. Life throws curves at everybody. But I'm going to tell you something. If I get hit by a curveball and you're standing in the path of one, I'm going to tell you, hey, don't stand there because you're going to get hit by that curveball. That's me.
Yeah.
I don't have any shame, and that's what my book was kind of raw, which people were like, whoa, did the church say amen? Because it's like God is the ultimate healer, so why aren't we talking about these things? Why aren't we talking about rape and abortion and, these kind of things that are happening? You'll go to a rape crisis center before you go to the church.
Right.
And that's what it kind of, I guess, rattled some people, but it's just the truth. So keep on, young people. Y'all doing a good job. We're going to have to definitely come back and showcase this situation over here. But we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Black Buckeyes, A Tale of Two Cities.
Yes.
A little bit of backstory, excuse me. A documentary film that addresses the African-American experience in Cleveland. It is produced and directed by the Reverend Dr. Leah Lewis, and this film is a springboard to comparing the Cleveland experience to that of the African Americans in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So let's hear about this.
So Black Buckeyes, we're going to do a screening of the Cleveland portion on Saturday, December 14th, from 1 p.m. to 3:30.
Yes.
Also at the East Cleveland Public Library. It's one of my favorite venues in the city.
Beautiful.
And I started this project after hearing a young African-American entrepreneur who left New York and moved to Cincinnati. He was here at an event in Cleveland, and at that event he said Cincinnati is a phenomenal ecosystem for young African-American entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And that blew me away because Cincinnati is a city that has had at least one race riot every century since the 1700s. And I could not believe, growing up, I'd always heard about how racist Cincinnati was. And so for this brother from the East Coast to make that proclamation, it really got my attention.
Yeah.
And so we were able to get funding in short order to do filming here in Cleveland. And so I interview Allie as a part of the documentary. I had the good fortune of interviewing her and her husband, Donald Black. Donald is a photographer, so he's a creative as well. I think I interviewed about 20 people who are very progressive in their approach to life. These are people who are really trying to do positive things for the African American community here in Cleveland. And as a result of casting my net and reaching out to particular people to participate, I reached out to a woman named Gloria Ware. And Gloria she works in the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Cleveland. She's also the chairman of the board for Little Lumpy Center for Educational Initiatives. But as I was talking to Gloria, she shared with me that her great-great-great-grandmother had run away from slavery from Parkersburg, West Virginia. And Gloria had done the research. So there were newspaper clippings that proved that her grandmother was a runaway slave.
All right.
And, not everybody is Harriet Tubman, right? There are a ton of stories of runaway slaves that we have never even heard of. Yes. And so we have the good fortune of starting Black Buckeyes, A Tale of Two Cities, by sharing the story of Margaret Rebecca Lockhart McQueen. So we start with her story. And let me know, she ran away with 2 other women. So there were 3 women who had been enslaved, who ran away from Parkersburg, made it to the Ohio River, crossed over into Cincinnati. Margaret went on, she left Cincinnati, she came to Oberlin through the Underground Railroad, and ultimately settled in Tiffin, Ohio. And she died at the age of 99, 2 months short of her 100th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that in the documentary.
I'm going to have to get my mother there. She's an Oberlin
Bring her.
genealogy.
Oh, excellent.
Like serious, big time.
Yeah, so
oh my, hold on. Okay, we'll figure it out.
No, you better be there.
I
Okay.
definitely want to be there. It sounds so interesting. You know, I heard a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to see Harriet. I'm not going to see Harriet. Yeah, I want to hear about slavery. But history, if you don't know your history, you don't know who you are. And this documentary is going to be personalizing
Oh, yeah.
this woman's history.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we know, we don't know a ton, you know.
Yeah.
So we're going to open with a scene that's going to be very dramatic that I have envisioned as a part of her escape.
Wow.
You know, there's clearly no footage on it. There are no photographs. But I will say that I did go see Harriet. And Harriet affirmed the vision that I had for opening the documentary and articulating Mother McQueen's story. And so from Mother McQueen, we go to Mother Joan Southgate, who is a living legend here in Cleveland, because this is a senior who at 70 and 72, I believed, walked 519 miles, retracing the Underground Railroad from Ohio to Pennsylvania to New York and into Canada. So we talked to her. We're going to talk to two attorneys.
You have live footage of talking to her.
We interviewed Mother Southgate in her kitchen. She's this
she
tall. She didn't cook. It was early in the morning, but so we're going to talk to Mother Southgate. So we're capturing the history.
Yes.
We'll also talk about the Huff riots and the Glenville shootout, and then we move into more contemporary times, and we interview people who are in Cleveland who are fighting the fight and doing everything they can to move our community forward.
Wow. That's going to be good. You guys, now, if they miss the screening, can they see it again? Oh,
it's going to take a while because we have to raise more money. And I'm hoping that people will go to the Eventbrite page, register, and make a donation. We need to raise more money so we then can go to Cincinnati to do the filming there.
Okay.
And then what happens with documentaries, documentary filmmakers often make more than one version. And it's because you have to continue to raise money. So, for example, there's footage that I would like to get, but we can't afford it. So I can't go to KYC and say I want footage of a particular historical event. I have to go to the national level of NBC. And that costs a great deal of money. So what you're going to see is you're going to see footage of interviews. You're going to see some B-roll. B-roll is seeing people in their settings.
Okay.
But further down the line, when we get more funds, then we'll incorporate archival footage. There are some scenes that I want to have done in a dramatic reenactment. And so this documentary probably won't be seen again until 2021. So people need to come on out on Saturday, December 14th from 1 to 3:30 at the East Cleveland Public Library.
Now we're going to put that up again, and then I'm going to put it on the Phenomenal Woman's page and also on the Instagram page, all the way up until Saturday. Because as you heard, Leah, if you don't get in on Saturday, you're not going to see it. And this is fabulous. Plus, I also want to encourage those who have a bundle of money just sitting there and I want to give. Yeah, I suggest that you give. It's a write-off. You have a nonprofit,
Absolutely.
right?
You can give it to Little Lumpy Center for Educational Initiatives. Little Lumpy Center would be sufficient. There's an address. You can go to the website for the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference, which is www.glaawc.us. You'll find our address there. You can email me through that site, and it is a write-off. I'll give you a receipt with our EIN number. You go from there, and again, it's a tax write-off.
$50.
Every bit helps.
Every bit
helps.
$1.50. You know, we want to get this done. This is why we're having this show tonight, to showcase what's really going on here. We have a lot of talent. We have a lot of people who are trying to educate our community, and we have a lot of youth who are just flying with the wind, doing great things. So if you can sew into this project, the Black Buckeyes, the Tale of Two Cities, you can see the beginnings of it Saturday.
That's right.
I mean, if you really want to know, do I want to spend my money? Go Saturday. Go Saturday. It's at East Cleveland Public Library, which is located at 14101 Euclid Avenue, and it's in the Greg L. Reese Performing Arts Center. It's beautiful. It's brand new. Well, it's brand new to me, and it looks brand new. And there's parking right across the street.
That's right. And behind the building.
You go right in the door and up the steps and round the bend to the by the library where the center is. It's 1 o'clock to 3:30. If you have, the time, go check it out. And if you know someone who's donating, someone who wants to give some money, somebody who has an interest in the arts and have an interest in history, have interest in genealogy, have interest in just networking with people who know about this kind of information, come on down and check it out, because there could be something that you have that you might be able to use.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, knowledge is power, and we're just looking forward to it. There's so much going on at the East Cleveland Public Library that people just don't know about.
Yeah.
It's right, like in the cuff right over there. And like when I went there for the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference, I had no idea that all these things were going on at the East Cleveland Public Library.
It's a gem. It's a gem in our community. It is well utilized, but at the same time underutilized. I will tell you stories. There were people who would not come to the conference simply because it was in East Cleveland. And they had no idea what they missed out on. They had no idea how beautiful that facility is. I had the good fortune of moderating a number of political debates there many years ago, and that's how I knew about it. And so I have a great relationship with the staff there, and I utilize them every opportunity I get.
I think I'm going to start utilizing them too, because there's quite a few things that I want to do. I always think of some of the bigger libraries, but this is a gem sitting in the middle of East Cleveland. It's really a great place. So that's another thing. We can promote the East Cleveland Public Library, and you can donate to them also. This is the time of the year for giving.
That's right.
So think about the oh my goodness, the Three Butterflies LLC. Think about Little Lumpy Center for Educational Initiatives. We want to think about the Great Lakes African American Writers Conference. We also want to think about Acerbic, and it's a multidisciplinary arts collective, and it's dedicated to providing a safe and resourceful home to artists of color. And we also want to think about the West Side Community Home. So if you have $10 that you want to donate to any of these organizations, donate it. I mean, you'd be surprised how encouraging and how far it can go for these youth, for the writers, for the poets, for everybody involved. This has just been a great show. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I hope that you keep us involved with what's going on with you, so I can talk about it and I can get you some money and you can do great things in the community.
That's right.
And also, we're going to look forward to having a poetry slam. We're going to help out getting this out, getting these youth out. And if you're interested in being involved in the poetry slam, just, what is it called that you DM me on Instagram? Just send me an email at terrikay.brown@yahoo.com, because I know how to email. But we're going to see you next time. Next week, we're going to be here talking about education over 50 and over. Education after 50. I'm over 50, closer to 60 than I am to 50, and I'm educated and still getting ready to get some more education. So, excuse me. I look forward to talking to everybody again soon. Take care, and thank you for coming out tonight. See you next week on Terrace Table Talk at 7:30. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Terrikay. This is good, wonderful. We appreciate it.